Let's spend the taxpayers' money the way we like, and let their children suffer and wallow in poverty. I am going to extravagantly spend this fucking 2 million rands. This is a tip of an iceberg of a leaked WhatsApp message between Julius Mkwanazi, Medicare 24 CEO Mike Van Wyk, and Kat Madlanga has left people furious. Could imagine that. Do you see what the country has turned into? Today at the Madlanga Commission, Medicare 24 CEO Mike Van was supposed to testify but ran away because he knew what was on ground would have swallowed him. Madlanga, who looted 360 million rands from the same company and shared the money with associates like Mkwanazi, Brown Magotsi, Karim Suleiman and General Sibia, is alleged to have done something behind the scenes. We thought we have seen it all after the leaked documents, but Advocate Charkison did us a greater favor by backing it up with a video clip. I don't need to talk much about what was revealed, because you have to watch it yourself and understand better. When things like this happens, all we can say is thank you Lieutenant Mkwanazi, who took that bold step to expose them all. If you support Lieutenant Mkwanazi and believe Julius Mkwanazi and Mike Van should be jailed, then hit the button and subscribe for more updates. Mr. Jabulani, roll out that clip where what nobody knew about Julius Mkwanazi was exposed.
Clips that were put onto YouTube, and we can get them in due course, I have no doubt. But until I was preparing yesterday, I didn't realize that the links no longer worked. If you go to YouTube, you say this, you just get a page that says this video is no longer available. But what appears from those videos is a very developed proposal for the establishment of a EMPD reserve force, like the reserves that SAPS has. And the first sign that we have of that as an idea growing out of the special force idea appears at that message on the 2nd of December 2021 at the footer page 597 spilling over onto 598, where Commissioner Mkwanazi says, "Good morning, Mike. We're starting with the project of reserve formation." And Mr. Van Wyk responds, "Please contact me so I know where we stand, and hopefully I'll be in charge of the reserves, LOL." Two days later, Mr. Van Wyk sends that mock-up on page 600, sends that mock-up of the specialized services JV between Anubis and EMPD through to Commissioner Mkwanazi again. And in response to that, Commissioner Mkwanazi sends him a message saying, "Good morning, Mike. Kindly prepare Twabe. Kindly prepare. Twabe will be coming to finalize the issue of appointment cards today. I've already given him a clue. We'll be meeting with our fleet guy this morning so we get directions since the cars have increased and finalized." So what this is straddling is...
I noticed that these are not being flighted.
Up at the top is the mock-up of the business card, and then the message from Commissioner Mkwanazi. Good morning, Mike. Kindly prepare. Twabe will be coming to finalize the issue of appointment cards today. I've already given him a clue, and we'll be meeting with our fleet guy this morning so we get directions since the cars have increased and finalized. And there are several issues. Yeah, the one is that to arrange blue lights, the vehicles have to be put onto the EMPD fleet. So Commissioner Mkwanazi seems to be saying, I'm meeting our fleet guy this morning, so we get the directions since the cars have increased and finalized. In other words, there are now more cars that need to be put onto the fleet, and once we finalize that, it will be possible to get blue lights authorized. But separately from that, there is an issue of wanting official appointment cards as officers with some sort of authority, some sort of policing authority. And the message from Commissioner Mkwanazi is to say Oabe will be coming to finalize the issue of appointment cards today. I've given him a clue. Mr. Van Wyk responds to that message, what must I tell him so that we are on the same page? And the response of Commissioner Mkwanazi is interesting. He says, yes, the appointment shouldn't specify the demarcation, and we need it as soon as yesterday. I'll also call and remind him again after 8:30 on the issue of adding members to appointment cards. So what Commissioner Mkwanazi is saying is these cards that will be issued to you, that will qualify you to have some, or that will represent you as having some policing authority, shouldn't specify the demarcation. In other words, they shouldn't say EMPD. They should just say something about your status. They need it as soon as yesterday, so it's urgent. And the issue of adding members to appointment cards, you need to speak to him about what happens when you need new people to get cards. And Mr. Van Wyk says, cool. Now we get to something which, in our view, looks like a bribe that is paid by Mr. Van Wyk to Commissioner Mkwanazi in respect of these appointment cards and the authorization of blue lights. And if we go to the foot of page 600, top of 601, Mr. Van Wyk sends two messages on the 6th of December to Commissioner Mkwanazi. The first says, the amount we spoke about is APPT, and then he says approved. So the amount we spoke about is approved. Now, in context, we believe that what's being talked about there is an amount of money, but we accept we may be wrong, and Mr. Van Wyk is always able to correct us if we are wrong. There is then an interlude in the chat when Commissioner Mkwanazi sends a series of photographs about a competitor to Medicare 24 that appears to be transporting live ostriches in an ambulance. Sorry. Mr. Van Wyk, at the foot of 603, gives his response. And if we go down...
Sorry, Mr. Shaskalson. I waited a little bit and I thought there would be more clarity on what you believe is a bribe. Can you?
No, we're going to get to that. We're certainly going to get
all
to
right,
that.
All right.
So at the foot of 603, and it's quite a long sequence, which is why I had to start there, but it runs through all the way to 13 December. So 9 December at the foot of 603. There is a voice note sent by Mr. Van Wyk at 1300 hours.
And whilst you are looking, I think these are emus, not ostriches.
I don't claim any zoological expertise, Chair.
Yes, good Do we know what's going on? Is there any answers maybe on that other story? Yes, do we know what's going on? Is there any answers maybe on that other story?
So Mr. Van Wyk is asking Commissioner Mkwanazi, are there any answers on that other story? His response is, on top of 604, good afternoon, my brother. I'm finishing this project this afternoon, but I pushed. We'll brief. It's been a busy week. Cool, thanks, says Mr. Van Wyk. Just have hectic pressure on me. And then things come to a head on the 13th of December at page 604. Well, even before we get to 604, to 13 December, if we look at 10 December 747, Mr. Mkwanazi forwards to Commissioner Mkwanazi forwards to Mr. Van Wyk a message saying, good morning, madam. Yes, but how far are we? I spoke to Mike. We are under pressure, all of us. So clearly there is something urgent awaiting that they both need to do or to get done. And then on the 13th of December, Mr. Van Wyk sends this voice message to Commissioner Mkwanazi at 9:45.
Hey Julius, morning. I hope you had a good weekend. I'll see if I'm going to have a good week, all depending on what you're going to answer me. Where are we standing, my friend? I need to know, please, please, please. I mean, you want to do Christmas shopping. I need to make sure my boss is not in jail for blue lights. So can you please, please just see what we can do?
So Mr. Van Wyk is saying, I need to know where we stand. You need to do Christmas shopping. And we're going to suggest that what that is saying is you need to get money to do Christmas shopping. I need to know that my boss is not going to be arrested for blue lights. In other words, I need blue lights to be authorized. What then happens is at 20 minutes later, at message time 4 minutes past 10, he sends a follow-up voice note.
Julius, just please answer your video call. I want to show you something.
So he's asking Commissioner Mkwanazi to pick up a video call because he wants to show something to Commissioner Mkwanazi. The response of Commissioner Mkwanazi is to send him a pin and to say on the following page at 6:05, hi Mike, I'm at the Arrive Alive podium, I will call you now. In other words, I can't take a video call now, I'm at the Arrive Alive podium. Mr. Van Wyk says, okay. And then on page 606, he says, can I send you something, but you need to delete after? And Commissioner Mkwanazi says, sure. And then he sends him a video that we've seen already, which is the video at 10:51.
Hey Julius, I hope you have a warm day like we have here. You know, it's warm. This fan of mine. Hey Julius, I hope you have a warm day like we have here. You know, it's warm. This fan of mine's not working so lekker. I don't know if it's because it's hard. I'm not sure what it's doing. Anyway, I have another one here. Let's put this one here and try this one. Oh, it's also hard. I'm going to spend this fucking money now. Please tell me where we're going. Have a lucky day.
The response of Commissioner Mkwanazi to that video is at the foot of 607, going over to 608, 13 December. He says, we'll push tomorrow, well motivated. And how we understand those messages is he will push to get the blue lights sorted out tomorrow, and Mr. Van Wyk has motivated his case very well with the video.
It could be casino winnings, Mr. Chaskels. That money could be casino winnings.
It could indeed.
Rubber bands.
It could indeed. But if it was casino winnings, we suggest it was being offered as something which Commissioner Mkwanazi could use for his Christmas shopping. The process then continues, and at 6:09, on the 15th of December, Mr. Van Wyk sends a photograph of what is actually the CAT security address. He follows that up at 6:09:10 with a pin to that address, and he explains at the foot of 6:10 that it's floor 8 CAT security. And he says 7 a.m. Mr. Mkwanazi confirms, Commissioner Mkwanazi confirms, and we're talking at this stage about processes to finalize two separate issues. The one is the organization of the vehicles so that they will appear on the EMPD fleet and be able to use blue lights. And the second is these appointment cards that will give the appearance that the holders have some sort of policing power. There is an issue in relation to the appointment cards which relates to criminal records, because the process of issuing cards to law enforcement authorities involves some sort of criminal record check. And we see that manifesting at the foot of page 610 and 611. They've just confirmed the meeting at CAT Securities offices. And then at the top of 611, Mr. Van Wyk says, who is the, and it should read to with the records. Commissioner Mkwanazi responds, I'm lost. Mr. Van Wyk says, who is the criminal records? And then he sends a voice note to amplify. And if we can play that voice note. Sorry, I've jumped. I've jumped ahead of myself there. Mr. Van Wyk responds to the query about criminal records and says Trinity spoke about two people, the tough guy and the black one guy. Let me confirm with her in the morning, Mike. He says, please, I'll appreciate it. And then he sends the voice note.
Just maybe can't just ask you quickly who it is. I know Bushy sorted these problems out, but we might need to look at how we're going to pass that or go around that one. And then the white people, I just can't put my, who can that be? Because I've checked all the guys in the criminal checks on them as well. You just maybe can't just ask her quickly who it is. I know Bussy sorted these problems out, but we might need to look at how we're going to.
So if we just go slowly through it, he says, can you ask her to check who it is? Because two people who are earmarked for cards have been flagged with criminal records. He says, I know that Vusi sorted out his problem. And Vusi is a reference to Mr. Matlala. And we're inferring that the problem that Mr. Matlala had was that he had been convicted of housebreaking and sentenced to 4 years imprisonment in 2001. Which meant that he should have a criminal record, and that if he sorted out that problem, it was sorted out illegally. Because if you are sentenced to a term of imprisonment without the option of a fine, you cannot have your record expunged. But he then asks to identify who the other, he's assuming it's not Mr. Matlala, it's two other people, and he's asking for Mr. Van Wyk to get them identified.
That was a second, or go around that one. And then the white people, I just can't put my, who can that be? Because I've checked all the guys and the criminal checks on them as well.
So he doesn't know who it could be who has come up with a criminal record. What then happens is on the 16th of December, at page 612, is Commissioner Mkwanazi sends Mr. Van Wyk a letter which is going to confirm the existence of some sort of joint venture arrangement with between Medicare 24 and Anubis with EMPD. And the letter appears at page 612, and it's dated 16 October, seems to be backdated. And it says, this letter serves to confirm that the EMPD, under the command of Acting Deputy Municipal Police Commissioner Brigadier J.D. Mkwanazi of Specialized Services, has an endless working relationship with Medicare 24 Pty Limited and Anubis to assist EMPD officers in any security and medical emergency services, including the COVID-19 pandemic in and out of the city of Ekurhuleni. These are the following vehicles that we work with, and there are 3 vehicles that are listed there, and these will be vehicles which in due course are fitted with blue lights. And their registration numbers are given, but it's not just their registration numbers, they're register numbers, which are numbers on the EMPD fleet register, are also put there. Mr. Van Wyk responds to that message on 613, and he says, please keep the rest the same as it's right with Medicare 24. And just to Commissioner Kumalo's point earlier, Medicare 24 without Tshwane district is right, according to Mr. Van Wyk on this letter. Please just change and add the following for Anubis. Anubis Protection Services, so he wants the proper name of Anubis to be there. And then he says VIP protection and security, and as he'll explain in his next message, he wants the letter to say that we don't just provide medical services, the partnership extends to VIP protection and security services too. Commissioner Mkwanazi responds, Anubis is added here, please, unless we want it separate. And then Mr. Van Wyk spells out what he wants. He says, this is what it must say. This letter serves to confirm that the EMPD, under the command of Acting Deputy Municipal Commissioner Brigadier J.D. Mkwanazi of Specialized Services, has an endless working relationship and memorandum of understanding with Medicare 24 Pty Limited and Anubis Protection Services to assist EMPD officers in any VIP protection, security, and medical emergency services, including the COVID-19 pandemic in and out of the city of Ekurhuleni. So he wants this letter to reflect the new, I forget what they called it, specialized service that was being planned.
When Julius Mkwanazi came to the Madlanga Commission and was asked about having a link with granting of VIP vehicles with fitted blue lights to Kat Matlala, he denied everything. But today, Madlanga commissioners have recovered all the deleted WhatsApp messages between him, Matlala, and the companies supplying those vehicles. The famous Mkwanazi line, "You delete them, we recover them," was literally put into action here. Bravo to the team. Jabulani, roll out the clip that exposed the truth about who really granted Kat Matlala access to state VIP vehicles with fitted blue lights.
What page number?
849 is the signature.
Okay, my copy doesn't have Tsakani's name and signatures. If I'm at the right page, my 840.
Is it a redacted? Is it a redacted version?
It's a clean copy.
851.
No. Hold on. Yeah, no.
3. 853, I'm told. I've got incorrect pagination on mine. 853?
853. Acknowledgement of debts, that's at 851. And then 853. Okay. Hold on, Mr. Cheskelson.
Cheskelson, there are two documents. One is the Memorandum of Agreement, and the other one is the Acknowledgement of Debt.
Yes, I think I have them in my pagination switched around, but the Acknowledgement of Debt, on the third page of the Acknowledgement of Debt, is the signature of Tsakani.
I have that at 853.
Then the references that I gave you for the loan agreement are 3 pages out. That sequence ends at at 1523. Sorry, I've lost my reference again. But the acknowledgement of debt is sent from Mr. Matlala to Mr. Motsumi at 1625, and that is at the foot of page 874. That document that is sent at 1625 is the signed acknowledgement of debt. And so what we see, and what we would be interested to hear from Mr. van Wyk on, is an arrangement in terms of which Mr. Motsumi, in his personal capacity, is advancing 20 million rands to Medicare 24 Tshwane district in late April 2025. And that in return, in addition to agreeing to repay the amount out of profit up to an amount of 100 million rands, Medicare 24 is also signing over authority over all of its vehicles to Mr. Motsumi's security company, Vazwemi Security. If we go back then to the chats between Mr.
Are you leaving the issue of the loan?
Of the
loan.
We are leaving the issue of the loan.
I'm also interested to, I don't know if we can link the two. My recollection of Sergeant Nkosi's evidence was that the reason why he shared the internal audit, the SAPS internal audit with Mr. Mutsumi was because Mr. Mutsumi had lent or advanced funds to Mr. Madlanga for the purposes of this contract. So Mr. Mutsumi had interest in this contract for that reason. And that's why Sergeant Nkosi needed to share that audit with him. So I'm wondering if this is the same loan or it's unrelated.
In fact, Sergeant Nkosi shares that document before this loan is concluded. But when we get to the financial flows, Mr. Mutsumi is advancing, or Mr. Madlanga is repaying Mr. Mutsumi before this loan agreement is concluded. So we infer that there is an earlier arrangement in relation to some funds that have been advanced from Mr. Mutsumi to Mr. Madlanga.
Thank you.
We were taken to this set of chats just because it's certainly our prima facie view that they are linked to the blue lights and the fleet registration of the vehicles. But going back to the chats with Commissioner Mkwanazi, there are other issues which we want to draw to the attention of the Commission, and the first relates to a venture which we suspect did not ever materialize, but which was going to be a joint venture in relation to an anti-hijacking unit. And for that, we need to go to page 672. And in fact, if we can start with 671. And at 671, Commissioner Mkwanazi forwards to Mr. Van Wyk a post by a company called Makopano, which is a 24/7 armed reaction company, advertising a success that they have achieved in recovering stolen, hijacked stock. And underneath that, Commissioner Mkwanazi writes at 0854, they didn't do shit, stood outside talking shit while we counted stock and had to suffocate with burning plastic fumes. And then underneath, he writes, and this is significant, good morning, it's truck hijackings. Security companies are charging 10% of what is being recovered. Please consider it. I will tell on how to deal with the matter. So Commissioner Mkwanazi is alerting Mr. Van Wyk to the fact that some security companies are able to receive payouts of 10% on the stock that they recover from hijackings.